Good afternoon and welcome along to this men's Premiership final. The Tennent's Premiership reaching a conclusion this afternoon with Hawick, who finished the regulation season top of the league with 77 points, up against Currie, who finished in third place in the table with 65 points. These sides are very familiar to one another. They've met in the Cup in the semi-finals in recent times, as well as their two league meetings, and of course they played out a very dramatic playoff final 14 months ago, with Hawick winning the playoff with that last play of the game, having watched Currie score with 3 minutes to play to, at that stage, look to snatch the title away from Hawick. But Hawick are a side who've only lost once in 2 years. They have changed their coaching personnel in recent times. That's brought into question aspects of the structure of the club and the running of it behind the scenes, but they're a fluent machine on the park. And Clancy, who's alongside me for this playoff final this afternoon, you'd have to say with home advantage they are favourites coming into this one.
Yeah, definitely. And you look at the form between these two sides over the last few years. Currie haven't won against Hawick since November 2021. So, it's been a while since they've been able to, come out the victors in this fixture. But, it's got so many interesting narratives in this final. Obviously, Hawick favourites, top of the pile. Obviously came to a difficult semi-final against Kelso as well. Changes in the coaching setup. They're chasing a treble. It's just how they react after that cup final. Currie have had an opportunity to rest, recuperate, do a little bit of analysis as well. So, it's always tight between these two sides, and it's going to be interesting to see what the kind of difference makers in this afternoon is going to be.
Of course, Hawick looking in terms of national competitions to make it a double-double, having won both the Cup and the League Championship last year. The League Championship finishing a little bit earlier. It was the middle of March when we reached this stage in the competition just over a year ago. Of course, they've played and they've been successful in winning the Cup final against other Edinburgh opposition in the form of Edinburgh Accies in a very closely fought final at Murrayfield. But this time it's a repeat of last year's final. They are at Mansfield Park. They are against a Currie side who of course have won the championship themselves twice before, in 2007 and in 2010. They were beaten finalists a year ago against Hawick, 2 years ago against Mar. Could it be third time lucky for Currie this afternoon? Hawick of course have won the competition since the organised structure of the leagues came into being in 73-74. They've won it on 13 occasions. Melrose, the local border sides and rivals to Hawick, having won it 10 times, to give you an idea of Hawick's dominance. But it's been a relatively barren spell for Hawick up until recent times, and the advent of the Super 6 competition has helped propel them up the leagues to become one of the very best out with the part-time professional level.
Yeah, they've been the standout team over the last couple of years, and he said a barren spell. It was a couple of decades before, since they'd lifted any sort of meaningful silverware in terms of the Premiership or the Scottish Cup, and this has been a relatively fruitful last couple of years for the Mansfield Park side, a historic club in Scottish rugby. There's been so many stories from this club that have impacted the Scottish game, and it is great to see them being competitive. What comes round the corner after this, nobody knows, but it's an opportunity to get some more silverware and really cement their position as being one of the dominant club sides in the generation that was our Super Series. But you've said it there, third time lucky for Currie. I think that they will come into this game knowing this is a huge opportunity for them to add to that tally of Premiership trophies.
And of course you've got a little blend once again of the old and the new, with Currie being one of the more recently established clubs. Hawick of course celebrating, recognising 150 years of playing the sport here, looking back at the many highs in that 150 years and the contribution that many individuals have made, not just to the club game but to the international scene as well. So it's perhaps fitting that in and around this spell in their history at this particular level, at the structure as it stands at the moment, that they are doing as well as they are. The Millennium Park side have brought down a strong support, a very vocal support, as we witnessed when we sat in amongst them 2 years ago when they had home advantage in that game against Mar. They were bitterly disappointed to lose out in the manner in which they did a year ago. I'm sure that will be part of the Currie coaching team talk. Just remind yourselves of how you felt when the final whistle blew this time last year.
Yeah, they've had two finals which were completely different sides of the coin. They went into the first one favourites at home against Mar, and obviously were defeated in what was a cracking Premiership final. Last year they came down here and a lot of people had written them off. They're almost in the same situation again. I just think that people aren't underestimating them as much this time, but it's an opportunity to go out there and leave it all out in the field. They've had time to rest, they've had time to recuperate. Their coaching setup is really, really focused on making sure they can pick the holes in what has been a really, really dominant Hawick defence all season. So they'll be hoping to make sure that they can try and bring a game plan that's going to be dominant, that's going to put Hawick in the back foot, and it'll give them a chance to get a real stranglehold in this game. Yeah,
we'll take a quick look then at the sides. They've gone back into the dressing rooms before kick-off, but here's the Hawick side, packed with experience, of course. Their captain Sean Muir, this will be his 237th first team appearance. Fraser Rennick, of course, international age grade experience. Nicola Little, an incredible front row there. Little almost played 160 matches for the club, but a bit of youth sprinkled in there as well. But many players have played in excess of 50 games, many of them in excess of 100 games, and that's going to bode well. They're a very settled side.
Yeah, they're very settled, and you look at the games that they've played so far this season as well, and you can see that they most of them have played 19, 18, 17 games, so there's consistency in that squad, and they've got a lot of big ball carriers. They're a really dominant pack up front, and that is where the game's going to be won and lost today. Whoever can get on top of the opposition up front will allow them to unleash the backs. There's players in that Hawick side like Andrew Mitchell that scored 20 tries this campaign, so they'll be certainly looking to try and lay out a platform for him.
And the Currie Chieftains side this afternoon, many of them of course taking part in the playoff finals of the last 2 years. You look at Charlie Brett playing at fullback, 114 points for him during the course of the season. DJ Ennis got an absolutely devastated figure at the end of the matches both 2 years ago and a year ago. A 56th outing for him this afternoon in that midfield. And Forbes and Christie as the half-back partnership, they're going to be hugely important in terms of dictating how Currie approach this game, certainly going forward.
Yeah, I think you can split that into three areas for that Currie side. I think that back row is going to be really important, especially Cardosi. I think he is similar to Jay Linton for Hawick, really instrumental. But that back three, if Currie can get some space for them, they're going to be they're players that can certainly stretch opposition defences, but also on the bench they've loaded it with more forwards, and I think they know that they're going to have to go to the well to try and squeeze out a victory here at Mansfield Park.
Yeah, the crowd has certainly swelled quite considerably in numbers in the last half an hour. There's a glimpse of the tunnel and now a glimpse of the banking opposite the main stand. There's a contingent of Currie supporters, and as I say, they'll be looking for third time lucky. They've followed their faithful down to Mansfield Park in the past. They've also watched them lose out to Mar. Of course, Currie and Hawick contested a 24-all draw back in January. It was a 35-13 victory for Hawick over Currie in September, and of course that 16-3 victory in the Scottish Cup semi-final. So a fourth time this season that these two sides have locked horns, and Currie will certainly be looking to upset things on this occasion, but Hawick with a sizable home support looking to protect what has been an incredibly impressive record of late. And for these players to do a double-double in terms of national competition wins, you've got the Border League to add into their success this season. It's going to be a memorable spell for them to look back on.
Yeah, it definitely is. Sean Muir said it during the week as well. It's probably would be a bigger idea of the character of the squad if they're able to go back to back and win doubles. That's huge in club rugby, in any sport, to be able to back up a dominant campaign and go again. But there's one thing that is for sure. You've alluded to the 3 games so far this season. It's going to be tight, it's going to be entertaining. Yeah, so brace yourselves for a competitive battle.
And on come the pantomime villains then, Currie, as a few boos then, but I think it's very sporting from the Hawick supporters. A warm round of applause from those that have made the journey down from Maleny Park. Currie in their familiar gold jerseys with the black trims, the black shorts and socks, and they're first out of the changing rooms, and then we're awaiting a much more raucous roar as Hawick will emerge. The last of the Currie players, James McCaig, out of the dressing room. He'll join his teammates as they form a huddle. And now walking out purposefully is Sean Muir, and coming through the line of youngsters and the Hawick players then taken to the park for this final time this season, a Premiership playoff an opportunity to get Championship 14 in the bag under watercolour grey skies. It's a chilly early May afternoon. The match officials making their way out now. Kieran Stark will referee this Tennent's Premiership playoff final, and those that lined a little guard of honour for the Hawick and Currie players have now left the park, and they will take to their seats. The referee glancing at his watch. Hawick will have this first opportunity to kick off, get this match underway. But Dale, it has to be said that there's one or two supporters, there's quite a few that have mixed feelings about playoffs and about playoff finals, but when it attracts a crowd as sizable as this, you have to say in monetary terms you can understand the logic of it.
Definitely, there's probably nothing more to add to that. It's an occasion, it's a celebration, and it is exactly what's going to be kind of on our eyes as we kick off.
Underway then. Currie are able to gather. Scrum half taking the ball in there. Gregor Christie does well, runs into his opposite number there, Gareth Welsh. Welsh does well to hold him up, taken on the scrum half duties, taken on there by James McCaig. Currie looking for a fast start here as they try and get into the running, pinged forward. 3 back for Hawick. Downfield it will be gathered by their fly half Kyle Brunton, and he's got time to ping this one just towards the technical area, down towards that 10-metre line. So both fly halves getting an early touch of the ball and clearing from hand. Conditions fairly calm. There's a little bit of a breeze blowing around Mansfield Park this afternoon. Pitch in excellent condition, and the first set piece will be a throw into Currie. Ryan Stuart, 62nd appearance, clean throw in there back to Christie. Christie then brings his fly half Forbes into play. Forbes then carrying the 10, Christie in behind him. Currie looking to get into the running quickly. DJ Ennis then making a nuisance of himself in the midfield. Picked up again by Christie. On through the hands there of Jeffrey, whose head prop involved. Just with a simple pass out towards the left hand side as Christie has it again. Feeds the ball out towards the left hand side, and Currie encroaching in the Hawick 22 for the first time in this match. Christie recycles once more. Several phases of play for Currie as they look to remain disciplined. They've won the penalty, and Hawick just losing a footing there and going in off their feet just on the edge of the 22. And Currie showing real intent here from inside, deep inside their own half of the field. A well structured line out as well, Dale, and some patient build up play, gaining some valuable beaters, and a chance to really put Hawick under some pressure early on with this line out close to the Hawick 5-metre line. Yeah, and it's a bold call as well to go to the corner early on, but I think from the kick-off, the Currie have been really assured, really accurate, and you can see the support there in the breakdown, really forcing Hawick to seal off. From the kick-off they made a 10-metre gain from that clearance downfield, and it set them up on a good platform here. Stuart then with the throw. Again it's won by Courtney West. Does well in the line out. Currie will look to try and engineer this opening from the maul. Almost entire midfield and those central backs going in to join in the drive, but it pretty much collapses on that 5. The ball has been recycled just on the left hand side and dislodged, and the assistant across on the far side with the raised flag, but the referee's going to bring play back more centrally, 5 metres from the Hawick line. So some early dominance from Currie inside the first 3 minutes of the game, but Hawick are a very experienced unit, so they'll be able to soak this up. But it's all about Currie trying to break the Hawick resolve at the moment with this territorial advantage they have with the tap and go. Round the corner comes the back row forward, Rhys Davis, and Davis is over. Currie over for the score, and their endeavours in the opening stages have come with a try inside the opening 5 minutes, just over 3 minutes on the clock. A fruitful start for the Millennium Park side. They were sharp there from the opportunity, 5 metres from the Hawick line to work it round the corner, and they've got the opening score. They've not put a foot wrong in the first 3.5 minutes here. From the kick-off they were assured, they were accurate, they were really physical as well in the contact and making sure they cleared out the breakdown, and they've put Hawick under a bit of pressure, and that's what they're going to need to do in this game. They've got their noses in front, but they're persistent, taking the good option to go to the corner. But you could see there Fletcher almost got a try. Great cover in defence from Welsh to get across initially, but eventually the defence did yield, and it allowed Davis to squeeze in for a try. Right, Rhys Davis was looking looking very sharp there, the blindside flanker, when he was able to pick and just work his way into a little bit of space. As we're saying, Hawick certainly not be too ruffled by that, but we'll watch this conversion attempt from Jamie Forbes, swinging his arms by his sides, then the ball just on that 10 metre line. It's a rather flat kick, but it's a good one. Didn't have too much elevation on it, but it had the accuracy and the distance, and Currie have opened up a 7-0 lead inside the first 5 minutes, and that just adds to the intrigue of this contest, with Currie coming out with purpose and within 5 minutes opening up a 7-0 lead. Yeah,
they've had all the ball. They've not allowed Hawick to play, and in 4 or 5 minutes they've been able to score more points than they did in 80 minutes the last time here. So it gives the ball back here to Currie, and it'll be interesting to see how they manage the next passage of this game.
And once more, Christie's able to take the ball on. Cardosi with a touch, it works its way out towards the left hand side. Currie in the closing stages of the game back in March of last year were an absolute bundle of nerves after they took the lead, and Hawick, you have to say, controlled those final 3 minutes, engineering an opportunity for McKean to score a memorable try at Mansfield Park to win them the playoff final. So they've certainly got a bit of steel about them, the home side, but Currie will be forgetting all about, I'm sure, last year, the pain of last year perhaps occasionally coming to mind, but my goodness, they've made a good start here.
You can see there the difference in that kick-off, though. Initially they're able to force Hawick to kick back and make 10 metres from the restart. Here they're just outside their 22. Currie have probably not been able to manage that exit as well as they did the first one, and it gives Hawick some ball to play with.
That's taken by Connor Sutherland. So Hawick, first opportunity in this first half to try and engineer an opening. Welsh then chips the ball out towards the right hand side. Rennick picks it up towards the edge of the 22 once more. Still is going forward, of course, a age grade internationalist, and Welsh in behind him, so huge amount of experience for Hawick to call upon. Welsh then just stooping down, looking to bring players into play. He's got the prop forwards taken on there by Sean Muir, just on the edge of the 22. Then it's Lee Armstrong. Armstrong just tries to defend off a couple of Currie players, and DJ Ennis was involved in defensive duties. Hawick supporters will be more encouraged by the play since the restart there. It's drawn the penalty from Currie on the first occasion where the Millennium Park side have been under pressure, and that's just as a consequence of Hawick taking a slightly different approach with ball in hand.
Yeah, and you can see in that passage of play as well, they used some battering rams, try and get Linton and Muir over the gain line, well repelled by Currie, and then when it's eventually given into the hands of Lee Armstrong, his footwork is incredible. He's one of those players that you don't know what foot he's going to bounce off, and that's the sort of footwork that can dislodge a really organised defence. Gets in behind, it takes 3 Currie players to scrag him, and then players are having to seal off, and that's exactly what DJ Ennis was doing there. He was just far too quick, he loses his kind of centre of gravity, and then he's sealing off that ball, and it allows the opportunity to get the first points for Hawick.
Well, we talked about Charlie Brett, his 114 points, and Kirk Ford is now in excess of 200 points for the club this season, and it's a penalty attempt here for the Hawick fullback to get Hawick's first points of the afternoon. 7.5 minutes on the clock. Here he goes then. There's a clean strike and 3 points on the board, and the home side are off and running. So they reduce the arrears, 4 points the difference between the sides. Hawick 3, Currie 7.
Yeah, and I'm not one to kind of preempt conversion attempts and penalty attempts, but Kirk Ford was always assured to get that, and you can see Currie are probably taking a leaf out of Brackey's book last week, and they're wanting to play a bit of tempo and put pressure on this Hawick side. Yeah,
and that was Charlie Welsh, who was able to scurry back into his 22, follow the flight of the ball and win possession back for Hawick. They're inside their own 22 at the moment, looking just to try and work a position here just outside the 5 metre line, and again Lee Armstrong, good upper body strength there and fleet of foot as he was able to bypass the initial Currie onslaught. Back it comes, and Hawick looking to clear, more of a splaffed effort up towards the edge of the 22, not the cleanest strike there. The ball coming back to Kyle Brunton, but safety first, and he got the ball clear and just up towards the edge of the 22, and it will be a stand side line out throw in here for Currie. Ryan Stuart already in possession of the ball, gets the instruction from Thomas Jeffrey. The referee Kieran Stark not entirely satisfied with the line. 7 Hawick players in the line, just watching on as Currie now have their 7 set as well. Towards the back of the line, Hawick get a strong palm in the ball, bounces rather awkwardly there, but taken on by Stuart Graham, Hawick blindside flanker, just on that 15 channel. Again using Rennick to try and gain some ground. Hawick hooker goes to ground, but is able to plant the ball back. Welsh feeds it back. Brunton, that's a cleaner kick from Brunton this time. A better angle from the Hawick standoff, taking the ball up towards the 10-metre line. So as we approach 9.5 minutes of this Tennent's Premiership player final, Currie leading by 7 points to 3. The try coming from Rhys Davis 3.5 minutes into the first half, converted by Jamie Forbes. The Hawick penalty from Kurt Ford. That's a simple but well executed line out there from Currie. Ball played on by Cardosi. Paul Carey is willing to take the ball into the collision. Thomas Jeffrey this time does likewise for Currie. Lucid propped. Back it comes, well engineered there by the halfbacks. On then towards Charlie Brett. Brings it into the corner. Bounces once into touch and forces play deeper into the Hawick 22. 10 minutes on the clock. Hawick 3, Currie 7.
Yeah, good work from Currie. They're keeping Hawick guessing, trying to use the big battering rams and Cardosi and tipping on, and they've obviously got a bit of imagination in behind as well, bringing Brett up into the plate so he can stab downfield. But you know, Hawick almost done what Currie done in the opening stages there, trying to play out from their own 22.
Shorter line out ball there for Hawick, as again Connor Sutherland was the person they were aiming for, and it's found its way towards Callum Rennick. Rennick was looking for the offload just before he crossed the 22 there. Welsh was in behind. Brunton with a deft little kick. The chase is on now. An opportunity here for the outside centre, Andrew Mitchell. The referee though is bringing play back towards the edge of the 22. We'll get Dale your interpretation of that. Referee signalling an offside. Presents Currie with an opportunity. The Hawick faithful disappointed, to say the least, with the referee's decision. Currie are going to go for the posts here, but a deft little kick from the fly half Brunton, and it certainly proved dangerous as Mitchell was away, but was immediately called back by the referee. Yeah,
we've seen a bit of that in the cup final last weekend against Edinburgh Accies. Kyle Brunton actually been given a little bit more freedom to play, and you'll see here the Currie defensive line bursting up sharp, and what fly halves want to do is try and keep them guessing, keep them on their toes, and that little chip up over the head allows Mitchell to run on. And the referee just adjudged that Andrew Mitchell was just in front of the kicker when Kyle Brunton took that, so comes back for a penalty. And you know, that was almost an opportunity for Hawick. Go up the other end, they could get a try, and it means that just a couple of yards means that it's 3 points on offer here for Currie.
Currie will be mindful that on an afternoon like this down at Mansfield Park, any opportunity for points they feel they'd have to take. So this is an important penalty goal for them even this early in the game. Clean strike, more elevation on it. Another 3 points though, so Forbes adding to his conversion. So it's now Hawick 3, Currie 10. Currie then opening up that 7-point lead they held for a short period earlier in the half. 12 minutes gone. 10 points to 3.
All these points as well have come off from the kick-off. You know, they've come off how the team have dealt with the kick-off. Both occasions, Hawick being able to put Currie under pressure, and then Currie being able to put Hawick under pressure.
Longer kick, again aimed towards the scrum half. Christie does well. He was sized up there by Ronan McKean, who became a supporter's favourite last year with his heroics in the playoff final, and this time it's taken on by Graham Carson, tight head prop, just outside the 22. Muir comes through, not allowing Christie any time on the ball. Cardosi's bundled off it as well. Hawick looking for an opportunity just to unsettle Currie, giving them no time, just on the edge of the 22, and they win the penalty, much to the delight of Nicky Little and the Hawick forwards, who worked hard there to win the penalty. And that's one thing that Currie will surely be aware of, that at no point in this 80-minute match will they be allowed to settle in occasions like that. Hawick hassling and harrying them, and under 22 they can ping this one into the corner.
Yeah, it gives an opportunity to exert some pressure on this Currie side, but great awareness from Sean Muir, front row and captain for Hawick, just noticing that Gregor Christie in behind that ruck was just dilly-dallying a little bit, had his hands on the ball, and as soon as Nine's got hands on ball, it's open play, so he snaffled on that, was able just to engulf the Currie 9, and it gives Hawick a chance from here.
Rennick's throw, again some movement in the line. Once more it's Sutherland who wins possession of the ball. Back to Rennick, you can see the ball tucked under his right arm. Welsh comes over to lend a hand if required, the scrum half. Hawick almost a little lateral there. Muir peels away. Currie looking for a little bit of movement in defence. Hawick have breached that 5 metre line and are closing in on the try line. Hawick 3, Currie 10, the score line. And Hawick again with an additional drive on. Callum Rennick joining in the back row forward. Once more they look to try and straighten up and working the ball away from that left wing to a more central position, but they're gaining centimetres, and every forward momentum is valuable as they circulate it now. Brunton perhaps needed to offload there because he had McKean on his left hand side, picked up there by Welsh. Welsh tries to snaffle his way through. Currie look as if they try to swing him round onto his back, and the referee hasn't signalled the raised arm. I think he's going to go across to his assistant. Dale, what have you spotted?
It looked like, from this angle, it looked like it was an excellent finish, but I think it's just been knocked on. Just in the act of scoring there from Welsh. Great awareness, but I like the approach that Hawick are taking there, because they can congest that area behind that ruck and really put some power into the drives, which was causing Currie a lot of problems. And with that, they have to react, which allows space in that defensive line. So it was a good patient approach there from Hawick, but just when it started to get a little bit loose, just not able to take advantage. So great defence there from Currie.
15 minutes on the clock. That goal line dropout carrying the halfway line, picked up there by Lee Armstrong, who has possession of the ball now. Very deliberate goose step up towards the 10 metre line. Is grounded there and will look to plant the ball back. Welsh has it now, taken on this time by Little. Nicky Little showing his power even at these advanced years, still making a valuable contribution for the starting 15. And again Hawick just over that 10 metre line. Recycle once more. Brunton on towards Armstrong. Little interchange there in the midfield. Currie are up, playing a high defensive line beyond their own 10. Welsh has it once more. Out towards that right hand side. Armstrong just stretching out the arms there, get assured hands on the ball. How Hawick would be delighted with his decision to come out of retirement to play that little bit longer, as he's been part of such a successful outfit this last 12-24 months. Muir on the deck with a good pass. Hawick again looking to try and gather the ball in. Callum Rennick doing well. The referee signalled it was knocked on. I thought Rennick had perhaps done just enough to control possession of the ball there. It was an awkward one for the open side flanker. I think he's having a quick word with the referee and a little glance. Got the outstretched arms, the wasn't me Gov expressions, as we get to see a replay of that deal. Was he perhaps harshly done?
I think from this angle in the stand, it did look like he was harshly done, but I think in the replay has perhaps confirmed that for me. It did look like there wasn't a knock on in there, but it was a great awareness. Jay Linton came the ball in two hands, looked to offload. Currie burst out the line. There's an interception opportunity there, just was able to gather it. And it was well gathered. I thought it looked like it was an opportunity there for Hawick, but the referee is in a far better position than me, so it certainly looks like it was a close call.
Yeah, live stream of this Tennent's Premiership final. 17 minutes gone at Mansfield Park. Hawick, of course, finished the regulation season with 77 points at the top of the table. Currie were third after the regulation matches. But these sides, who met in a dramatic playoff final just over a year ago, are back locking horns once again. And it's Currie with the 10-3 lead as we approach the end of the opening quarter. Very encouraged as well by the size of the support that's inside Mansfield Park again for this playoff final, as Currie with the scrum. Christie then looks to feed the ball in. He'll work his way around to the feet of Cardozi, the Currie number 8. Picks the ball up just above head height there, and DJ Innes, and again Currie are having to scramble back and get possession of the ball, but McCaig did well just to work his way back, gather possession. It's back now with the number 8 Cardozi. He takes the ball into contact. Christie has it once more, back into the 22. Flatter clearance kick downfield, 3 back inside the Hawick half. Hawick again will use their fullback then, Kurt Ford. Launches a high tantalising ball. One there by the fly half, Jamie Forbes, out towards the left hand side, and Cardozi carries the 10. Christie again. Back it comes and pinged forward once more by the Currie fly half. Jamie Forbes getting plenty of distance on the kick. So it's a little bit of kick chase just at the moment. Brett now launches it forward. 2 back in the Hawick 22. and that's just a little bit too strong as it comes back off the advertising hoarding, so it'll come back into the Hawick half, and it's these errors that will frustrate and cause some concern in the Currie ranks, because Hawick, as we've seen already, can latch onto these mistakes and can punish you very quickly.
Yeah, I think sometimes these games are all about momentum, and Currie have it at the moment. They've got the lead on the scoreboard. They're playing pretty well, pretty confidently, and it's these little bounces of the ball that can just hand momentum back to their side. It's the kind of momentum that gets the spectators out of their seats. It gets them cheering on their side. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of impact that's going to have over the next kind of 5 minutes. But a platform here, Hawick will be hoping to get a squeeze on the scrum and enjoy a bit of time with the ball in hand and ask some questions of this Currie defence, because so far it's certainly answered every single one.
Yeah, the few occasions Hawick have had meaningful possession inside the Currie 22, they have looked dangerous. They look a side that haven't certainly going forward fully got into gear yet, and they'll be mindful that we have played now 20 minutes of the first half, so a quarter of the game gone, but plenty of time for the narrative to change during the course of this 80 minutes. Hawick with this scrummage, just 7 points separating the sides, and Hawick with this attacking scrum just beyond the 10. Got a bit of blind side to work with here. Welsh just raising the ball as the referee this afternoon, Kieran Stark, Michael Bosman and Brian McGuff, Brian McGuff, I should say, the two assistants, along with Kieran Stark officiating this Tennent's Premiership playoff final. The referee just mindful of what a settled scrum. Welsh then readies himself, taps, and now feeds the ball in, goes round to the feet of Jay Linton. Hawick looking to get a little bit of momentum and movement on. Welsh goes down, second time of asking, he's able to gather on towards Armstrong again. Mitchell was coming through there, but picked up by Welsh, forced back just beyond the 10 metre line, burrows his way back just beyond the 10 once again. Hawick looking once more to the second row forward, Connor Sutherland, this time in open play to try and gain some ground. Dalton Redpath, who of course received a red card in the fixture a year ago, is in the second row this afternoon alongside Connor Sutherland. So Hawick still on that Currie 10. Rennick with the initial pick, little involved in the action. Linton goes in, tries to fend off with a strong right arm there, plants the ball back. Currie forcing them back just beyond the 10 just now. Almost 22 minutes of the first half gone. Muir again trying to gain some ground, just goes over the top there of the lock forward. Courtney West is back on his feet. Redpath into contact. Welsh in behind. On there's Brunton, flatter kick just over the initial line of Currie defence, bounces once into touch, throwing over on that far side.
Interesting there. It's really good defence from Currie, but it's forcing Hawick to make decisions on what they want to do next, because they're trying to attack, they're trying to puncture that defence, and when they're realising they're not actually making much weight, they're getting back to Brunton, who's looking for the space in behind to put an accurate kick in to get further up the field. It does put hand possession back to Currie, but it's Currie's defence that is pretty much dictating this game and saying, look, we feel like we're in control, and Hawick are having to answer a lot of questions now. So, good accuracy there from Brunton, just to sit back in the driving seat and then ping it in the corner, and now Currie have to be accurate.
Currie's throw, and Ali Bain does well to gather possession of the ball there, because inside the Hawick 22 there was a Currie throw in that was palmed back on the Hawick side. That bounces once, and Hawick now have possession once again inside their own half of the field, wrestling away there. That was good work from Charlie Welsh. Through the hands there, forward, flatter pass taken on again, but it's a steal there and played forward as Armstrong couldn't gather possession of the ball. It chases on. It's Brunton is able to read the bounce of the ball, spin round, and that's a good left-footed exit here from Kyle Brunton. He was under some pressure because galloping in his direction was Ryan Daly, leading the charge for Currie downfield, and Brunton had little time to gather the ball, spin round and clear it, and he did get the ball beyond the 22. So the throw in is now Currie's again. Ryan Stuart receiving instructions from Thomas Jeffrey. Back it comes to Christie. On then towards Cardosi, who feeds the ball out towards that left hand side. Currie into the 22 again, but stolen, and Hawick are able to clear it once more forward downfield. Just one player back in the Currie half. Now a suggestion there of a knock on, because he certainly went a second time to try and pick up the ball there, Charlie Brett, and that is once again incensed a lot of supporters in the main stand at Mansfield Park. But applause for that kick downfield, which has taken play right into the Hawick 22 once more. So perhaps another little flashpoint deal.
Oh, what an interesting bit of play this is going to be, because out the back of that, I was thinking when that ball was bouncing, I thought, well, that's really fortunate that it's going centre field for Hawick, because it's going to be a challenging kick. Ooh, yes, I think they perhaps have got away with one there, Currie, but it's a 50-22 as well. Thrown to the line out for Currie. What a great kick that is from Brett at fullback.
Yeah, that's one of the best kicks of the season in terms of distance and accuracy, but he was perhaps a tad fortunate to be given the opportunity to play that downfield again. The line, it was a short one aimed towards Ali Bain there at the front portion of the line, but Hawick once again have been able to unsettle the Currie line out there. I think they'd feel hugely aggrieved if they had conceded from the throw-in and Hawick that Currie visit into that Hawick 22, but as it is, Hawick in possession now, and they'll look to clear through Brunton. Plenty of height on that. Again, it's gone beyond the 22, so it was a safety first kick there rather than trying to angle it closer to the 10. Another throw in for Currie, but that's a couple of occasions where they've been inside the Hawick 22 and the throw in has been challenged successfully from Hawick and Hawick hands. Yeah,
there's a lot of good jumpers on that Hawick side, and equally so in that Currie side, but obviously Hawick have done their homework on the Currie line out, and Ryan Stuart will be having to do well to hit his target again.
Well, this time again it's going for the hands there of Courtney West. The referee had signalled the double knock on. It's Hawick first to infringe with the hands, so Currie will have the opportunity from this set play just outside of the 22 on the Currie left as they attack from the town end down towards the Hawick Royal Albert end of Mansfield Park. So that's the direction of play as we watch from our commentary position in amongst the support in the main stand. So a scrummage here. Currie with their number 9, Gregor Christie, and that gold jersey with the black trims, feeds the ball into the scrum, back down towards Cardosi's feet, able to pick the ball up, little loop pass on, Gray takes the ball on the outside centre up towards the edge of the 22, planted back, Cardosi eventually gathering the ball in there as if it was a bar of soap, but the referee's bringing play back for a Currie penalty straight in front of the sticks, just on the edge of the 22. And a high challenge picked up by our match referee Kieran Stark, so it will be interesting to see what Currie opt to do here. Sean Muir with a quick word in the ear of the referee there just to get his interpretation of the latest decision. Currie, perhaps no surprise, just to keep the scoreboard ticking over, are going to attempt the 3 points, going for the posts. 10 points to 3 they lead at the moment as we approach 27.5 minutes of the first half gone.
Yeah, Cammy Gray just taking a shot a little bit high there. Obviously this season seen the tackle height increase and go up north a little bit just to protect players, and that was probably just on the fringes there from Hawick, and it does afford another opportunity for Currie here to add an additional 3 points. And again, when getting into these danger areas, escaping with points is paramount in a final.
So Forbes once again swinging those arms side to side, got the long black top underneath the gold jersey, glances down at the ball up at the post, takes a step back, a clean strike, and it's another 3 points for the Currie fly half and for the visitors. So they've opened up a 10-point lead going into the half-hour mark. 28.5 minutes on the clock, and it's now Hawick 3, Currie 13.
Big next part of the last quarter of this first half for both sides in terms of Currie's defence, but also how Hawick try and approach this, because they've not really enjoyed much in the way of attacking ball.
This time it's the second row forward, Courtney West, that wins possession of the ball. It has been from the restart and from the kick-off aimed towards the scrum half Christie. Christie's in position now, looking to restart as Courtney West has lost his scrum half cap, but he's just attaching it back to the head once again, as Christie once more will make himself available for this box kick from inside the 22. Has to angle it almost over the shoulder there. Brunton now on towards Jay Linton. Linton up towards the 10-metre line. Linton, the tackle's coming in there from DJ Innes, right on the edge of that 10-metre line. Hoyt will look to try and recycle. Welsh just trying to enforce as it's back towards Muir, but another penalty conceded. So the penalty count beginning to rack up there, but Hoyt showing no obvious signs of frustration on the players' faces just at the moment. They're looking across towards the bench just now. Muir maybe a tad frustrated at that, but very much keeping a lid on their emotions at the moment.
Great work at the breakdown there from Currie. Jay Linton is a dangerous weapon with the ball in hand, especially when he's got space, and he laterally tried to run across the pitch there, and DJ Innes was able just to stick to him. So when he went on for that second bump, he lost his momentum, got dragged to ground, and the counter ruck there from Currie was brilliant. And what's ended up happening is Jay Linton has just tried to cling onto the ball to present it back to his team, but he's just been walked over by Currie. Held onto the ball, affords the penalty here for Currie.
Perhaps a fortunate bounce there for Cardozi and a slightly untidy Currie line out, but he scurried into that 22. Recycle ball, pass is allowed to bounce there on towards Brett. Brett then tumbles down, recycled. Currie still have it, space in that Hoyt 22 perhaps for them to exploit. Daly tries to take it up towards the 5-metre line, taken on then by Christie. Going in was Rhys Davis, the initial try scorer. Currie then spread it out towards the left hand side. The number 8 again in all places here, trying to attack inside the Hoyt 22. Back it comes to Christie. Flatter pass then on towards Cammy Gray. Now outside centre again, taking the ball into contact, but Hoyt were able to be very mobile defensively just to slow up the momentum of that Currie attack, and put the decision going on this occasion in Hoyt's favour inside the 22. Hoyt 3, Currie 13, with less than 10 minutes of the first half left to play. And it's an opportunity for Hoyt to clear the lines just at the moment, as Currie have made a change, and on has come Ollie Blythe Lafferty. So a change then, the giant figure of Lafferty onto the park for the closing stages of this first half. Water carriers now racing on, the referee just allowing them to take to the field, as I think the player is down receiving a little bit of treatment. So Currie, the first team, going to the bench to make the change, and they have this 10-point advantage to protect in the closing stages of the first half. I
certainly think that before, when I was looking at the two team sheets, I think the bench is going to be a really interesting dynamic in this game. You never know how it's going to be utilised, because you can get injuries, you can get tactical decisions, and it's really interesting to see bringing somebody of such youthful exuberance in Blythe Lafferty off the bench into what is a young front row, alongside Jeffrey and Stuart in that front row for Currie. So I think that obviously Currie are going with forwards heavier on the bench than what Hoyt do, so they're obviously knowing this is a battle to be run up front, and in a scrum where they're obviously not getting the put in, but they'll be wanting to try and make a fist of it here, because so far Hoyt have had the ascendancy up front, and it'll be interesting to see what impact Blythe Lafferty has on this facet of the game. But it's interesting to see Currie go to the bench so early and bringing Carson off.
Yeah, so Graham Carson, the player replaced by Ollie Blythe Lafferty. Of the two, he's the taller forward, and he'll join this slightly new look scrum then, with the new face and fresh legs of the youngster Hoyt, with the put in inside their own 22. Welsh then feeding the ball in, picked up then by Jay Linton just at the base of the scrum, goes on a run but is closed down immediately before he can reach that 22. Hoyt looking for some reinforcements. Clock ticking down, 8 minutes of this first half left to play, certainly going by our clock. Hoyt again recycling ball inside their own 22. Connor Sutherland, the latest player, taking the ball into contact. Back it comes to Brunton. There is the exit, and again just beyond the 22. So on a few occasions he's gambled to go for greater distance, but he's always made it safety first, to at least get up to and beyond the 22 and force Currie back some distance. But Currie have spent a lot of this half inside the Hoyt half of the field, and it's another throw, another set piece for them. Once more palm back, and then that's 3 that Hawick have been able to deal with in the Currie throw. Jay Linton is literally clawed to the ground there. Welsh in behind. Brunton again looking for some space. Flat kick down the heart of the pitch. Picked up then by Charlie Brett. Brett then just taking his eyes off it there, presenting Hawick and Rennick with an opportunity. That could be costly then. Brett just slamming the turf as he's out of position. He'll need to get back defensively, and Hawick will look to latch on to that mistake there. Welsh again on towards Graham. Stuart Graham, the blindside flanker, into contact. No real immediate pace in this Hawick attack as it comes now into centre field. Mitchell up against his opposite number there. Cammy Gray with the tackle. Hawick will look for more possession of the ball, but they had the penalty, and the referee will go back for that decision over on the far side. But it's the little mistakes like that when Charlie Brett perhaps just taking his eyes off the ball at the moment. We remember a coming together of 2 Currie players in the playoff final a year ago at similar place in the park, and on occasions like this, if you make these mistakes against a Hawick side, they very often can punish you.
Yeah, I thought there was a glitch in the matrix there when I saw Brett trying to go downfield, and he was obviously sizing it up just to chip over the top of the Hawick defence, but just kind of got caught in a couple of different minds there. So it will probably give Hawick the opportunity to try and enjoy the rest of this first half and put a bit of pressure on this Currie defence. I think they probably need to get some sort of points, but again, when it starts getting loose deep inside their own half, you can see the danger that the likes of Jay Linton has had, because in the battle of the number 8s, Cardosi has certainly been the standout between them so far. But yeah, Brett is throwing Hawick a little bit of a lifeline in a first half where they've not had a lot of luck.
You were over with the instructions to Rennick. Rennick then over on that far side, the Hawick right, as they're attacking in the closing stages of this first half. Just over 5 minutes left on our clock, and that's a shot stamp thrown towards the front of the line, and a clean line-out win for Hawick, who are looking for a try. Trying a conversion here would bring them back level. Look at this maul, look at this drive. Hawick, well, the referee's still looking to raise the arm. Dale's nodding away, seems to think it's a good one. And Hawick, the power there of the forwards. First time we can really see an illustration of the experience coming in. Rennick sizing himself up against Ali Bain there, and Hawick's determination coming good 5 minutes before the break. The referee is coming across. His assistant on the stand side has come on the field. Callum Rennick is the player, I think, being congratulated by his Hawick teammates, and the Hawick players really unsettling Currie for the first time in the game. And the referee, a word in the ear there of Courtney West. The try is good, and certainly that brings Hawick right back into the tie, and that's a real wake-up call there for Currie. The sheer strength and determination of that Hawick drive.
The referee was quick to award the try. It was just the melee of bodies, and Currie were trying to probably defend it too cute in an area there where we know the strength that Hawick have, and when the sea had parted, you see why they get called the Green Machine, because they were motoring towards the line with great vengeance to get their first try in this game, and it was a formidable effort. Callum Rennick was the player to rise with the ball in his hand, but it could have been a whole cluster of players, and now up to Ford.
Ford then adds the extras, so Hawick have got a converted try with 3.5 minutes of the first half left to play, through a powerful forward drive from the line out. And again, that goes back to just that mistake involving Charlie Brett, and we get to see it again. Look at the power there. I mean, they were racing towards that Currie line, and how they've celebrated that score. They've been able to waken from their slumber in this first half, and it's back to a 3-point game. Welsh then trying to feed the ball back. It goes to inside his in-goal area there. A long restart kick there. Welsh is going to be clawed to the ground 5 metres from his own line. Currie 10. Currie leading, I should say, by 13 points to 10. Hawick 10, Currie 13 the score. 3 minutes until the break. Again, Muir, double tackle coming in on him. Rhys Davis, one of the Currie scorers this afternoon, getting that opening try in the final, eventually flooring the Hawick captain. Back it comes again into the end goal area. Clearance downfield. Time there for Jamie Forbes to feed the ball on towards Brett. Brett then angled kick into the 22. Away goes the Currie number 8 once more. That had to be fielded well and was. And Hawick again looking to reorganise in defence as they've got possession of the ball now back inside their own 22. Less than 2.5 minutes of the first half left to play. Fraser Rennick then burrowing his way up and beyond that 5 metre line. Back it comes to Welsh. And once again, 2 good feet, Brunton, downfield. And that's a kick which Currie are looking at the options of taking a quick throw in there. But Currie having sort of conceded possession, I think, on 3 occasions when they've thrown the ball inside the Hawick half of the field, close towards the 22. Hawick getting palms on the ball on 3 occasions to palm it back. Accuracy is going to be so important now.
No, the last try pretty much came from a line out in a similar position. It was ended up back on a Hawick side eventually, and then it ended up in a penalty. So Currie will be wanting to now end this first half with a bit of pressure on this Hawick side.
Yeah, Cardosi taking the ball almost one-handed there into contact. Now Blythe Lafferty up towards the 10. Christie again once more, and then towards West. West is eventually wrestled to the ground. Christie has it again, looking for options. DJ Ennis this time inside centre, up into the 22. Still he's going, he's wrestling and rolling down onto the ground. Christie again going in, almost operating there as Christie once more is able to feed the ball out. Once again, Christie involved in the action, and Hawick conceding the penalty inside their 22 on the angle. And Hawick taking the ball in, unable to release back to his feet as the outside centre Andrew Mitchell. So Currie have the penalty. Whether they'll go for the corner because they're in between that 15 and 5 channel. Certainly deliberating.
Yeah, I think they're having a chat here. I think now's the time to go for the posts, if I'm being honest. But I think they're having a chat about what they're going to be doing, and they are going for the sticks. I think that's the right decision. You know, they've got 20 seconds left in this first half. They know that they're not going to well, they possibly could if something freak happens, but they've got a chance to squeeze out another 3 points in this half. But Andrew Mitchell there, good over the ball, was able to steal it, but when he was engulfed by the bodies that ended up congregating on that ruck there, that passage of play, he wasn't releasing the ball, so he is the person that has eventually been penalised at that breakdown, and I think this is a wise decision from Currie.
Forbes then, and a few members in the crowd are doing their bit to try and distract the Currie fly half. They'll want to try and keep his nerve and add extra 3 points. Ball on the tee beginning to swing around now. That looks good from here. The assistants raise their flags. He was not to be distracted. We've hit the 40 minute mark. 26 points accrued by the combined sides. Hawick 10, Currie 16 on the scoreboard. Last play of the half.
Yeah, I think that was a good decision. This is going to be interesting to see what Hawick do, because do they try and compete to get the ball back to get some possession or squeeze a penalty, or if they kick long, or Currie just going to stab it out and bring the first half to a close?
Well, that's the shortest restart kick of the match so far, and Currie are able to win possession of the ball through Ryan Stuart, the hooker. So they've secured possession here. Christie squatting down now, has a little look, has to go in a second time. Penalty, Christie's away. Christie will need some support, looking for the offload there. Christie still has it. Offloads, comes off the hands there of Rennick. They carry the 10 metre line. The Hawick hooker was up, deflected of his hand there. An incident off the ball there, and it looked as if Cardosi was going flying, certainly. Hawick looking to get this opportunity to recycle ball, which they do. And it's getting rather tasty out there. Nicky Little running into Blythe Lafferty. Little is flattened. Penalty to Hawick.
I think this is going to boil over a little bit here at the end of the half. You can see tensions are running high, and Gareth Welsh was just tipped up, and the referee was quick on it as well. So the referee had noticed the challenge in there, but it was almost criminal from Hawick to offer that opportunity up for Christie to meander his way downfield. Sloppy at that breakdown, giving away that penalty, and Currie have looked dangerous in the counter-attack as well, so it's going to be a penalty to Hawick. but there's obviously going to be a conversation of some degree from the match officials to see what they thought about that physical collision, which Welsh has ended up getting a bit of treatment on the ground with.
Yeah, undoubtedly there's a bit of needle in the game now. Tensions beginning to rise. Welsh just squatting down. Okay, and the attention given to the white scrum half at the moment, with an opportunity to get a bit of a drink. Player again, Sean Muir, quite vocal towards the referee, and he takes a step or two back. Kieran Stark again in conversation with his near side assistant. Is he going to the pocket?
Big moment.
This is going to be a huge moment now. He's reaching into his right pocket again. He's calling forward Sean Muir. Muir backs away. There's almost definitely going to be a card here.
It's not looking good.
The referee is taking a long time to explain his decision. He's got a red card in his hand, and it's a red card. Christie has been red carded. He goes across to Welsh. He shakes his head, but the two players embrace, and Currie, see their scrum half shown a red card. Well, we had Dalton Redpath red carded a year ago, but that's a straight red for the white number 9, and there's evidence of the challenge there. And Currie, well, he cuts certainly a disconsolate figure, as Currie have the lead 16 points to 10, but the card shown practically on the half-time whistle. And Dale, you mentioned it about the replacements being important. I think so too, the decisions by the officials.
It's been a first half with a lot of kind of decisions which have been questionable perhaps, but it's a high octane environment, and that is a big decision on the cusp of half time. And it certainly means that we've still got a bit of time to play in this first half, but if there's any omen that Currie can take from it, Hawick managed to win it with less than 14 players last year, so it's going to take a big bit of character from the Millennium Park men.
Welsh goes in. Certainly it's important he doesn't look as if he's picked up anything serious from the collision, but a little 1-2, Armstrong on then towards the full-back forward, out on that right hand side, back to come again, so the ball's still in play. When the ball goes out, I'd imagine will be half time, given where we are at the stage in the first half. Rennick tries to work his way through. Fraser Rennick up towards the 10 metre line. Welsh, Armstrong doing well. Back it comes to Callum Rennick, one of the try scorers. Rennick always clawed to the ground here. He was nearly through. Opportunity now as it's Welsh once more. Ball protected by skipper. On then towards Connor Sutherland. Hawick again. Welsh on towards Rennick. Wrapped in the tackle there by Jamie Forbes. Back then once more on towards the skipper there, Sean Muir. Welsh leading the charge out towards the left hand side. Jay Linton making some ground. Welsh goes in once again, almost losing possession of the ball. The advantage, the referee signalling the Hawick knock on. That will conclude proceedings in what has been a lively first half, with Currie dominating sections of that first half, opening up a 16-10 lead, a flashpoint right in the stroke of half time, certainly bursting Currie's balloon to some degree with that red card shown to Gregor Christie, and muted applause from both sets of supporters as the players make their way into the dressing room. We'll get some highlights of the first half, and this was a pick and go from inside the Hawick 22, and it was the scampering Rhys Davis 3.5 minutes into the first half, opening the scoring deal.
Yeah, Currie started really positively, and that was the opening score in the game. They came close before that as well through Archie Fletcher, but it was eventually Davis who got the try. And then this was a great passage of play from Hawick, kicking over that defensive line, but the referee signalled the penalty on that occasion. And then this was a close effort from Gareth Welsh as well. Thought there was an opportunity to get the try. This was a knock on when Hawick were looking to try and reply, because Forbes had got the had been able to get a penalty as Ford did as well. But this was the first score from Hawick. It was a bit of a juggernaut there from the drive and maul, and at the nucleus of that was Callum Rennick. He was able to dot the ball down.
So at that stage, Hawick, really that was their first meaningful drive into the Currie half of the field. I think at that stage as well, tempers began to fray somewhat, because from a game that wasn't even showing signs of simmering, it started to reach boiling point very soon after that. So I think there's a few afters from this particular moment, and that perhaps changed the tone of the game somewhat.
Yeah, you're not going to come down to Mansfield Park and concede a try and not have your kind of face rubbed in the mud and a little bit of jesting, and that's exactly what happened in the maul. And then, just when I thought it was Forbes who got a penalty attempt on 40 minutes or just 39 minutes and a couple of seconds, and we thought that it was just a formality that we're going to be going down the tunnel, and then we get that flashpoint where there's the red card. And I think from my angle here, and watching the referee gesture and seeing what he was speaking to the ARs and the reaction of the player as well, I think it was probably, in the lines of the law, it was probably a justifiable decision. But it makes it a really interesting second half. Hawick favourites trailing. Currie, they're going to have to be defiant to pick up the Premiership trophy and obviously hold a slender 6-point advantage, but there'll be a bit of needle in the second half again.
Will there be nerves in the Currie ranks, given what they've experienced, what a lot of the nucleus of this team have been here and been through this on 2 previous occasions, once at home, once down here. I mean, they're looking to make this third time lucky, but a 6-point margin is a slender one when you've got 40 minutes and 14 men. Yeah,
I think that if anything, the red card would probably wipe away some nerves, because with nerves comes a level of expectation, and I think the nerves are probably more with Hawick, because playing against 14 men in a team that finished third in the division when you've defeated them 3 times, well, you've defeated them twice and drawn against them this season, there's a lot expected of you. And I think that Currie will probably be a little bit settled, a little bit calm. They'll be disappointed, but that's something like this, and things like this in sport can galvanise teams, and it's going to be interesting to see how they react. We've seen the other side of it last year when Hawick were down to 13 men. They galvanised, they got in the corner, they were able to snatch the Premiership trophy. So you think now, how are Currie going to react, and what changes are they going to make? Who are they going to take off to plug that gap at 9? And we're going to have to wait a few minutes before we see them emerge for the sheds for the second half to see what that answer is.
Yeah, rejoin us in just a couple of minutes' time for the start of the second half. A reminder though that Currie opened the scoring inside the first 3.5 minutes. A Rhys Davis try that was converted by Jamie Forbes, who's added 3 penalty goals in that first half. Callum Rennick though responding in his 104th outing for Hawick this afternoon with a try that was converted by Kurt Ford, who has also added a penalty goal. The 13-time champions then, Hawick, trailing by 16 points to 10 at the break, but Currie will be playing that second half with 14 men after the flashpoint just before half time when Gregor Christie was shown a straight red card. An intriguing second 40 minutes then will get underway in just a few moments' time, with Currie in front by 16 points to 10. Well, welcome back to live coverage of the second half of the Tenants Premiership final between Currie and Hawick. Mansfield Park again boasting a sizable crowd, similar I think in number 2 a year ago, when of course both sides served up a dramatic 80 minutes. Well, we've had plenty of drama in the opening 40 minutes, Currie leading by 16 points to 10 at the interval, but losing the services of their scrum half to a straight red card on the stroke of half time. They have the kick-off, but Currie very much up against it, against a Hawick side who've lost once in 2 years. Of course, the sides did draw earlier in the season back in January, 24 all. If that is the case after 80 minutes, we will go into extra time, but Charlie Brett will look to get the second half underway. The Currie fullback with a lengthy kick downfield. It's going to be a nervy second 40 minutes for both these sets of supporters. Currie have come down in sizable numbers from Mullenny Park once again, and there's a large contingent of those supporting the team in green.
Always inside,
then
always
from the
inside.
restart, angled kick picked up then by the Currie number 8. Sam Cardosi's been a hard-working figure in that Currie forward line. Little interchange and passing there with one of the replacements. Paddy Boyer is on the bench, and Boyer of course is going to take on some scrum half duties with the absence of Christie through the red card. Played downfield, tentative opening near a minute or so as Brett is able to feed the ball from the air. Bring it forward, runs into Sean Muir. Both are able to gather on their wing. Charlie is flattened. Currie reorganised the defence. Nicky Little takes the ball into contact again. I think that was Blythe Lafferty with the tackle there. Clancy alongside me. We'll get his thoughts in just a moment, as Hawick again looking for the exit. Ball is allowed to bounce a couple of times.
Still live
there, and they've got the option there. Kyle Brunton good with both feet in some ways. Some of his kicking from the left boot has been equally as good, if not better, than with the right today.
Currie numbers. Yeah.
You've not been able to get a lot of distance, but you know it's certainly been comfortable off with both feet as well. And I think it's surprising sometimes that they're not bringing up the forward to first receiver to kick to the distance it gets in the step back. Forbes has managed to put a hole in the defence.
And Currie are away inside the 22 looking for the offload. Still he's going. Well, that was excellent work from Forbes. Recycle ball now with an opportunity outside centre. Leading up the opportunity for the try, and Kirby Gray is in for the score. Gray with the try. Here we go. And Hawick have conceded in the early stages of the second half. 21 points to 10. The scoreline, 2 minutes of the second half gone. Hawick 10, Currie 21. And it was a lung-bursting effort there from Jamie Forbes into the 22, recycled. The ball eventually worked its way out towards Cammy Gray, and he's in for a score. And well, that just changes the complexion of the second half in the early stages. Coming flying out of the blocks very quickly indeed. And it's Currie, first blood to them at the start of the second period. Hawick 10, Currie 21. Forbes then looking to add the extras. So the 14 men of Currie. What a start to the second half, Dale.
Yeah, great break from Forbes, and it's just what he does. He's, you know, equally as adept at playing fullback as well. Great balance of running. But was just able to keep the ball in two hands and ask questions of that Hawick defence. And that is the reaction that you want when you're a player down, as they come out in the second half and show them that you're certainly not taking the wind out of the sails, and Forbes leading from the front.
Forbes then, whose run was key to scoring the try, adds the extras. Hawick 10, Currie 23, so Currie showing plenty of character, particularly at the start of the second half. And Hawick will head back for the restart, certainly knowing that they're in a game in this Tenants Premiership playoff final. There was certainly no question of them underestimating the skill set of Currie, but Currie's spirit coming to the fore in the early stages, particularly of the second period. Back it comes again to Forbes, and that's a straightforward exit from inside his own 22, gaining some ground. And Currie then coming flying out of the blocks, 23 points to 10, the start of the second period.
Yeah, good reaction, and as well when you've just scored a try, the exit there as well was really impressive from Currie, to be able just to steady the nerves, and as you said, how are they going to react? Obviously the introduction of Paddy Boyer brings a lot of experience at that scrum half position. Him and Forbes are very, very well versed in this sort of rugby.
Yeah, well, Hawick executing well at the line out, looking to bring outside centre Andrew Mitchell into play. Welsh has it on in towards Sutherland. Sutherland carrying up towards the edge of that 22. Welsh once more on in towards Brunton. Flatter pass. Linton is able to fend off on rushing Currie defensive players. And Hawick again. Welsh. Hawick in a hurry, not surprisingly, but there's much of the second half to work with. Just 4 minutes of the second half gone. And they've been there, seen it, done it before. They certainly will not panic as Muir then on towards Callum Rennick, already a try scorer in this playoff final then. On then towards Andrew Mitchell. Welsh again. Nicky Little runs into traffic. Again gaining a little bit of ground. Welsh in behind. On towards Sean Muir. Not really able to fully get into his running there. Hawick again looking to recycle ball once more.
Got penalty advantage.
Currie organising the defence. It's going to be an exhausting second half for both these sets of players. So late in the season. Brunton, but so much up for grabs. Currie trying to devour the Hawick on-rushing players as they're still inside that 22. Looking to recycle again. Currie just backtracking a little bit. Welsh on in towards Nicky Little. Little then back to Welsh. A deliberate, you'd have to say that looked a little deliberate there as Currie were flying through there.
One here, one there for us.
And the open palm there, looking to take a quick one. Kirk Ford, the referee though, with his back to play, calling it back. I think Muir again with his hands on his hips has words with referee Kieran Stark. And Currie having to soak up a lot of pressure there as Hawick determined to be the next team to score.
Yeah, and again this is another penalty. You're 13 points down. This is going to be a big moment to see what they're going to do. If they want to go for the corner, are they going to go for the scrum?
There you go.
Or they're going to go for the post. And it looks like Ford's eyeing up the corner, but again, great defence from Currie. They've been able to dig in and drive some of these big ball carriers back. The likes of your Rennicks are really hard off the ball. Sutherland as well is working incredibly hard with the ball in hand, and he's being repelled every single time that they're running towards that Currie defence. And you know, it's just a matter of is that able to withstand that for another 35 minutes?
Time off.
And it goes across then to feed the ball into the line. Muir will make his way over with the instructions. Hawick's line out has been effective, and this an attacking throw in. Of course, they had a powerful driving maul against the Currie forwards, which produced the opening Hawick try through Callum Rennick just past the midway point in that first half. 23-10 the scoreline. And as we eat further and further into the second half,
18.
If the scoreline remains as close and possibly closer, that will lead to anxious moments for the spectators that have made their way down to Mansfield Park. Plenty care and attention given. Ball boys on hand just to wipe down the ball. Just that slight delay as once again a Hawick player who's already been in the wars is in the thick of the action, which led to the Gregor Christie red card. That's Gareth Welsh, the Hawick number 9. He's been strapped up, strapping applied to the forehead. He's back to his feet. So it's a throw in then. Rennick sizing up this throw. Again, he's able to find Stuart Graham this time, who's rising highest towards the back of the line. Currie looking just to try and disrupt. Back it comes through the hands of Welsh on towards Brunton. Oh, Armstrong there up towards the 5 metre line. Again recycled there by Welsh. Currie trying to come flying through. Advantage coming the way of Hawick. Now this is when they're at their most dangerous. 5 metres from that Currie line. The referee, having played the advantage, will come back for the infringement almost right in front of the sticks. And Hawick, having conceded early in the second half, are looking to hit right back as Welsh has it now. On once more towards Stuart Graham. Takes the ball up within those final 5 metres once more. Hawick will just recycle, pick and go. We've got forwards over. Again, Muir was leading the charge there, the captain.
Yeah, they're good, they're fine.
Repelled once more by this Currie side. Those in gold at the moment, eyeing up the big prize, but Hawick The defending champions looking for a 14th title. Wrestling inside that, deep inside that Currie 22. Looking to recycle ball once more. Welsh just backs away as it's all dominated forward play just at the moment. Currie again looking to try and get a turnover inside that 22. The referee's just going to break play up as Currie have knocked the ball forward. So this is really energy sapping stuff here from both sets of forwards, Dale.
Yeah, we've still got half an hour to go. I'm starting to wonder whether that head strapping is to keep the sawdust in between those ears, because I think Gareth Welsh was a bit keen to go early on that tap penalty. I thought that was an ideal opportunity if you were not wanting to go for the sticks, is to go down for the scrum. Ask questions of a really depleted Currie backline. The gaps would be there somewhere in some way, shape or form, and it keeps all the forwards in the one area. What's ended up happening is we've got a scrum just crabbing a bit further across the field, but they've certainly had been in the ascendancy in the forward battle up front.
Yeah, grey skies overhead. It's a chilly early May afternoon here in Hawick, and Hawick then through Welsh, feeding the ball into the scrum. Picked up then by Linton, trying to work his way around the corner. It's a size of a corner to work his way around here as Currie again were quite mobile, forcing him further and further wide before he could straighten up and try and attack the line. All the Currie players on their feet, very much focused on the task in hand at the moment, which is to try and protect the lead that they have with the 14 men. Again trying to scramble his way through Dalton Redpath. Once again Welsh on towards Stuart Graham. Graham into contact. Welsh once more over the ball, eyeing up an opportunity. Brunton then on towards Armstrong. Mitchell, he's tackled, immediately taking possession of the ball there. Currie remain disciplined defensively and win the penalty inside the 22 and celebrate it as more than a mini victory there. And after nearly 10 minutes of the second half, Currie, having soaked up quite a bit of pressure in the last few minutes, have this opportunity to exit the 22. And each of these decisions, no matter which way it's going to go in this stage in the game now, Dale, is going to be sort of, the reaction's going to be very similar from both sets of players. These are mini victories.
Oh, definitely. You know, they're big momentum swings, and I just think there, that passage you play when you've been dominating up front, you're knocking at the door, then you're driven back, you need to keep it tight and build that momentum up again. Hawick released it far too early. They've not got the supporting players coming round, because what's happening is Brunton's running laterally across the pitch, Mitchell's running back against the grain, and then Armstrong's running round. So if Mitchell doesn't get through that defensive line, he's isolated, and that's exactly what happened, because the players that are in that little area that are starting to build that play have really got to check the run, get back, try and support, and by the time that they were there, the Currie players had already been dipping their fingers in the biscuit tin, because they were all over that ball. They were able to squeeze the penalty out and give a chance for Currie just to squeak their way downfield a little bit more, and then now they're going to the bench as well.
Yeah, Roy Rukagu will come into your picture just in a moment. You can see him just making his way across on that far side to throw the ball into this line out. So he's come on the field of play for Ryan Stuart. So too is Chris Anderson on in that front row. So Anderson taking on the duties there. Kyle Brunton has been replaced by Bailey Donaldson as well. So Hawick making a change. Currie have made 3 or 4 changes in this match. One enforced with Boyer on for Christie. The ball tucked under the left arm there of the battering ram of Rukagu. Rukagu was away there and took a bit of a scalping, but stayed on his feet as it had been launched forward. Taken in the air there by Charlie Welsh. Welsh a little bit uncertainty on his feet there, but he's able to get up towards the 10-metre line. Rukagu right in the thick of the action here as Currie in this second half, now protecting a 23-10 lead. 10 minutes of the second half gone. Hawick then, Linton trying to round the corner, Linton's away, up and beyond that 10-metre line. Linton's still going, clogged to the ground there by Charlie Brett, up towards the edge of the 22. In fact, he's still on his feet. He almost lost his balance there. Brett with an important intervention as it's out towards the left-hand side, and suddenly Hawick have got a bit of room to work in towards the corner they go. And they just didn't have quite enough room to work it into the corner there. They were forced wide, and they were forced just too wide there, Dale. but they certainly opened out play, and one of the Currie players down, receiving a little bit of treatment, and really for the first time in this second half, Hawick at pace, opening up some free ball for the backs to get involved in the action, and they were almost in for a try.
Yeah, I think that's potentially Courtney West, who's getting a little bit of treatment. He was almost knocked northeast by Jay Linton in this run, and great hands there from Armstrong to release Ronan McKean, who he tends to like a left-hand try. Mansfield Park, Murrayfield, whatever ground it is, but not on this occasion. Great scramble in defence, but you just see the danger that Jay Linton has with ball in hand. He's so dangerous, he's athletic, he's rangy, and you can see that the Currie defence has done a tremendous job to get back with 14 men to scramble and to stop that at source on the 22. It has given the new fly half now, Kirk Ford, who's moving up with Bailey Donaldson going at fullback, a chance to nudge it into the corner. But that's the sort of thing again that swings the momentum and gives you that encouragement as a team, you know, to know that you've got those big ball carriers that can just release a bit of pressure for you.
Pinged into the corner, Nicky Little has been replaced. Ross Graham is on. Little receiving applause as he makes his way down towards the edge of the front of the main stand. Hawick winning the ball then in the line out. They've got the drive on, and the ball again tucked under the arm of Rennick there as he's looking to angle a run towards that line. In the thick of it, Chicago involved in defensive cover. 10 minutes, now 11 minutes of the second half gone. Referee's whistle and penalising Currie once more as Muir was almost away there. You wonder how many visits Hawick are going to have inside this Currie 22 before the visitors do concede. They've been defending manfully in the early stages of this second half after that lightning quick start they made. Yeah,
and I think the Currie would perhaps be a little bit more nervous now if they hadn't scored that try. But I think one thing that they probably can't be sucked into is just digging the heels in and defending for the rest of this game. So it'll be a long half hour if they're facing a Hawick onslaught.
That ball won in the air by Dalton Redpath. Currie certainly want to avoid an arm wrestling match. As we're watching on here, Hawick again quite stationary, just to the left of the 22, inside that Currie half. Currie trying to just force them back just now. Somewhat untidy at the moment. Currie again lining up their defence along that 5 metre line to try and remain tight, disciplined. The referee jockeying for position. Hawick again just looking to find an opening. All their forwards just taking in turns to try and pick and go just at the moment. The fresh legs of those Currie players off the bench. Anderson, Blythe, Lafferty, Chicago all involved. Chicago bundled to the ground here just now. Of course, the extra points from the boot are going to be important as well, as Hawick looking for the 5 points for the try, but they'll want to make it a kickable conversion as well. Have they been able to power over the line again? The referee squatting down momentarily to see if the ball's got a clean grounding. They're held up and held back just at the moment. Currie still protecting that line, protecting a 23-10 lead. Now the ball comes out through the hands of Armstrong. Spread the ball wide, a 2-1 situation opening up here, and Hawick, are they in for the try? They certainly are indeed. The right winger's over. Charlie Welsh peeled away. Hawick using the forwards, timing again, and then feeding the ball through the back line. Armstrong with a loop pass, and then suddenly the opportunity was on there for Hawick, and once again Charlie Welsh on that right hand side. Timing, his spacing inside the 22 is important, but his run as well, and in not quite underneath the post, but it makes the kick that much easier for Kirk Ford, and it's 23-15 with the kick to come.
Great work from the forwards to remain composed when they were under a bit of pressure from Currie defensively. You know, they didn't look like they were going to be able to nudge their way over. And you've seen on the stand side here at Mansfield, Charlie Welsh was jumping up and down like a madman, just knowing that the space was there. Great accuracy from the backs as well, but that angle back inside, as you said, Stuart, has just made the kick a little bit more comfortable here for Kirk Ford.
Ford then just outside the 22 and on that 15 channel. Ball very upright on the tee, that's how he prefers to address it. Then he gets a clean strike. Assistants are happy with that, so a converted try. So both sides scoring converted tries in the second half. We're back to where we were at half time, a 6-point margin for Currie. and they'll make their way back. Well, they started in lightning quick fashion at the start of this second period, but how exhausting has that last spell been? And was that shifted, changed the momentum somewhat? We shall see. Charlie Brett then with the restart kick. Currie then angling it. In fact, it's central downfield. Played back there by Jay Linton. Running into some gold and yellow jerseys now who are beginning to mass around the Hawick number 8. Welsh is over the ball at the moment. Now it's on then towards Sean Muir. Runs into Vikago. Is able to plant the ball back. Vikago just over the ball at the moment. Back it comes. And he'll look to try and clear down towards that 22 there. That was kicked forward with the clearance. The full-back, not the best of kicks there, but it was able to ease the pressure just ever so slightly.
Yeah, he's moved up to fly half now after the introduction of Bailey Donaldson with Brunton going off. But just under a little bit of pressure, he was just screaming on his forwards just to give him a little bit more protection, because Currie are attacking that kick really well, and especially from the restart, shooting their two wingers up to put a bit of pressure on Linton, who juggled with the ball.
And that's a clean win in the line out. Vikago has the ball tucked under his left arm now. Hawick trying to drive him sideways, but he's able to get through a melee of bodies there. Vikago still he's going, closing in on those final 10-15 metres inside that 22. Back it comes again to the Currie number 8, Cardosi, tumbled to the ground. Currie's replacements in there. One of them is Ali McCallum, who's also on the field of play. A recent change for the visiting side. Boyer over the ball at the moment. Then it comes now to Rhys Davis. His opening try for Currie seems a long time ago now, as it's picked up again by Cardosi. Up 5 metres from the Hawick line. Currie looking to bring in Vikago once again. He's a powerful player. Stays upright then, bundled backwards. Boyer over the ball at the moment. Has a glance towards the right hand side. Plays it towards the left. DJ Ennis is very alert to it. Tries to dance his way. Just puts more weight on that right foot there. It's recycled again. Taken on this time by Chris Anderson. Anderson in those final 5 metres. Picked up by Boyer once more. Boyer over the ball, so close towards the post, helped out towards that right hand side. Still they have it again, looking to bring the backs into play. So this is an important spell of play here for Currie, as Boyer, almost a basketball style pass out towards the right hand side, but again Hawick very mobile defensively, trying to just ensure that Currie can get so far wide but no further and round the corner. But they've conceded a penalty, Hawick. Currie having the advantage there. Back it comes centrally, and Dale, this again will be an interesting decision as we're nudging our way closer towards the hour mark here, with the scoreline of Hawick 17, Currie 23.
Yeah, it's I said it in the first half, it's been interesting to watch this game and how both sides have dealt with the kick-off, and on that occasion obviously Linton juggled the ball and it's not allowed a really good exit from Hawick. And then Currie, these teams up front are really, really attritional. They suffocate each other because of their power that they've got up front, and you can see they're just doing the same again. Vikago and Anderson, who have come onto the field of play, are really big ball carriers, and they take a lot of manpower to bring down, and they're able to just exert that pressure, which makes you creep slightly, which makes you try and live on the edge, and Hawick have done that there. And ultimately what it's ended up in is an opportunity for Currie to probably get a pop at the sticks here and make it that awkward scoreline again, because a 6-point scoreline with 20 minutes remaining is nerve-wracking. 8 points just gives you a little bit more of a buffer, so it's a good reaction there from Currie from conceding that try only minutes ago.
Yeah, looking for a buffer, so this would take them to 26-17 if successful. He's had a good afternoon with the boot so far, Jamie Forbes. This then for a 9-point lead. Always looks so straightforward from up here. Different story down on the park with so much at stake, but he keeps up his 100% record in the game so far, and as Dale mentioned, we're approaching the hour mark, and Currie have landed a further 3 points of the boot. 17-26 the scoreline.
Jamie Forbes, he's had 5 penalties all season. He's got 4 in one game, so it's interesting the different dynamics of games and the opportunities that they bring about. But he's been a really important player for Currie this afternoon, and now another restart. Let's see how Currie deal with this.
Well, they've got clean ball through the hands. Even simple things like dealing with restarts and handling is going to be so important. They've pinged some distance on that kick. It's been gathered and gobbled up there by Kirk Ford. On to then the try scorer Welsh in the second half. He tumbles to the ground. Ford over the ball at the moment. Hawick then will be looking to try and make some inroads inside the Currie half of the field. Over the ball just now, Lightfoot looking to try and work the position here for Hawick. The referee though awarding Currie the penalty. Just on the edge of the 22. So that decision going the way of the 14 men from Mansfield Park. And focus and determination in equal measure now, you'd imagine, for Currie, who've suffered some heartbreak on these big occasions in the recent past. Hawick have enjoyed so much success, but they've been made to work for it, and that cup final success against Edinburgh Accies again was a case of them having to dig in deep to engineer the victory. They're at home this afternoon and they're trailing by 9 points. Vikagu practically on the halfway line, just in front of the mouth of the tunnel. There he is. Assistant alongside him with the raised flag. Vikagu looking to line up the throw in, getting a word in the ear from Chris Anderson. Throwing the ball in, suggesting it wasn't the straightest of throws. The referee allowing play to continue there. Delicate little kick and the challenge off the ball there. The referee immediately whistling. Now, is he going to take any further action and just give the penalty just on the edge of halfway Dale?
I think that was for the line out. You can see him signalling there, just the touch of the arm. Dalton Redpath, when he was competing at the line out, he was just trying to scrag at the arm to try and get the ball back. It was well contested there. I think it was West was the target in the line out, and he was obviously well contesting there. The assistant referee obviously having a conversation about the incident centre field. But this is a delicate point in the game for both sides. You can see the approach that Currie are taking, making their way to the line out nice and slowly, making a decision further down the field to frustrate Hawick. And that's the reaction when you get frustrated, as you start to concede these little penalties.
Hawick looking to try and keep the ball from going into touch. That's an absolute beauty from halfway. A kick down to within 5 metres off the Hawick line. And I mean, that was pinpoint accuracy, because Hawick had players covering over there to try and prevent the ball from ending up in touch there, and it was just in touch and no more. Yeah,
no chat from the Bailey Donaldson and Welsh there. And that's an excellent kick from Brett to just squeeze it into that corner, because you're doing exactly the same as they've just done from that penalty. They've got in a position, they're going to use their attritional forwards and try and squeeze this Hawick side.
Vikagu with the throw in, and it's gone loose, and it's been picked up then by Jamie Forbes. Hawick were alert onto that, but Forbes equally so for Currie, so they've still got possession of the ball here. Boyer over the ball at the moment. Then it's taken on Blythe Lafferty, who's been on the field, one of the early Currie replacements. Hawick again on the defensive as it's back to the hard-working Sam Cardosi, the number 8. Stopped just short of that 5 metre line. Boyer in again, looking to bring into play Ali McCallum, one of the more recent replacements off the bench for Currie. Recycled once more. Further recycled play here as Vikagu again tries to straighten up. He's made a real contribution since coming off the bench, but an interception, and Hawick again looking to try and devour ground, but the referee's bringing play back. An offside decision given against Hawick, and not for the first time in the game. They've tried to escape from deep inside their 22, and perhaps in some eyes a borderline decision, but the referee calling play back. So for the second time, Hawick thought they'd got some green plane to run into unopposed, but the referee Kieran Stark had other ideas.
Yeah, again, Mitchell, it would be difficult to catch him from there. Great awareness, but obviously the Hawick defensive line just encroaching yet again, giving away another penalty. The most interesting part of that dynamic was the Currie coaching staff are telling DJ Innes, don't go back and chase the ball, leave it on the field of play, because it's going to work in their favour, it's going to run down the clock. But he was down there pretty quick, punted it off, and then Currie are back up here 5 metres away from the Hawick line.
Currie again then, tap and go inside the Hawick 22. Hawick 17, Currie 26. Currie again looking to try and work it round the corner. Sizable contingent of supporters across in the banking, very engaged in the contest at the moment. And Hawick, well, Currie just nudging the ball forward with the hands there. So Hawick will be able to engineer an opening to clear from their 22 just now. The clock ticking down by our watch. We've got about 16 minutes of the game left to play. The clock inside the ground, of course, ticks down from 40 down to the final few seconds. The players will be mindful of the time on the board, but the in-ground clock hasn't stopped during the second half when there has been injuries and occasions where the referee has stopped the clock. Hawick have brought on number 19 Fraser Wilson for the closing stages of this game. Stuart Graham, the player, withdrawn. And this, I suppose, everything the organisers of the championship are looking for, some drama in a playoff final. It's not a procession for one team over the other, and that has attracted such a sizable support to Mansfield Park this year again. Hawick with the put in at the scrum then, inside the 22, pulling the ball round, picked up again by Jay Linton, stays on his feet, tumbles to the ground, gets back to his feet once again, determined figure Linton, still swatting away every golden jersey in front of him. DJ Ennis backpedaling slightly, Hawick again, slightly sclaffed effort, they're going to give chase though. It's underneath it is the Currie fullback there, Charlie Brett, and Brett does well to straighten up. Brett staying on his feet beyond that 10 metre line, in goes Boyer. Currie looking for assured hands here as the outside centre. Cammy Gray then takes the ball into contact. Recycle ball once more, on then towards the number 8, little pop pass, and Hawick have got players coming through then. Currie looking just to protect possession of the ball, and a penalty to Hawick this time, close to their own 10 metre line. Muir eager to get possession of the ball and get on with things.
Yeah, I think that was a good game management there. It's been kicked in field clear from forward. As it's going to bounce out, it looks like it's going to go the wrong end of the flag. The wrong side of the flag there from Hawick, trying to go too quickly. They've still got 15 minutes to play, but that part of the game, that part of the field is where they need to be playing. If they want to get back into this game, they need to be playing further away from their line, trusting their defence, and then trying to squeeze these penalties out to get a bit of territory. But that is I think Kirk Ford there, too rushed and just trying to be a little bit greedy with territory, and it's just bounced out there. A couple of metres the wrong side of the flag, but it's the wrong side.
We saw Currie kick downfield and just plumb on the Hawick 5 metre line about 5 or 6 minutes ago, and that's the opposite when you just put just a little bit too much of it. Such fine margins. Yeah,
and this is the point in the game where whoever's playing the rugby in the right areas could potentially win this game. If Currie are able to stay further up this field, they hold all the cards.
The 14 men of Currie, it's been an impressive second half display so far, but Hawick have breached the Currie defence. They have come away with the 7 points, so Currie will know just how dangerous their hosts are, even right to the final moments of the game. Well, by our clock we've still got 13 and a half minutes of the match left to play. Currie then, Paddy Boyer with the ball at the moment, feeding the ball into the scrum. Alongside them Declan Lightfoot. The referee not satisfied with the scrum, so it'll be a reset. Watch stops. And still a 9-point game between the sides. So you look to reset this scrummage.
Just over 12.
Certainly, obviously, the time does suit Currie in getting this reset, but when I looked at the benches, I thought that front row might have had a say in this game for Currie, and it certainly had an impact coming onto the field, not just at set piece, but obviously in the loose as well, being able to draw in those Hawick defenders to try and afford some space. So certainly an intriguing passage of play in this game.
Boyer into that scrum, penalty to Hawick. They win the penalty at the set piece, so it's almost as you were when Kirk Ford took possession of the ball and played this one downfield. He'll look to angle the kick here, so it's straight into touch and between the 10 and 22 this time.
Told you that front row was making an impact, driving in at the side and getting the penalty against him. And this is what Ford probably, you think about the distance that he got on his kick that went the wrong side of the flag to where he is here. There's a good 35 metres between those distances. The difference is it went off the right side of the flag and Hawick have the ball, so they're further up the field and they'll be wanting to exert a little bit more pressure, enjoy some accuracy with the ball in hand.
Well, certainly Currie are colliding, knocking the ball forward in that line out, so the referee signalling the advantage. It's picked up then by Charlie Welsh. Looking forward there is Declan Lightfoot, as White once more feeding the ball out there towards Ross Graham. Back it comes Linton, dangerous once more. Sean Muir didn't fancy the run this time, offloaded there to Fraser Wilson. Lightfoot in once again. White still with possession of the ball. Currie then appealing. 11 minutes of the match left to play. Muir over the ball at the moment. Declan Lightfoot as well with the offload out towards the left hand side. Armstrong's found a gap, Armstrong's away. White now looking to offload towards Mitchell, on then towards the open side flanker there, and he's in for the try. Callum Rennick with the score. White are wanting to get on with it, they want the conversion. Currie feel that this could be history repeating itself again, as they've lost some momentum there. 22-26 with the kick to come. This will make it a 2-point game, and drama in the final 10 minutes of this playoff final.
Again, we spoke about it in the first half about what Lee Armstrong does. It's a game where players are bulldozing over each other and looking to try and use a lot of muscle. His forward dinks over the conversion attempt, and it needed a little bit of finesse, it needed a little bit of stardust on it, and that's exactly what Lee Armstrong brings with his footwork, his balance, the running. He's just able to keep the defence guessing, and you can see there, just spots the gap in between two defenders. Cute little offload to Mitchell, and then accurate pass there to Rennick, almost behind him, which gave Gray an opportunity to get back and scramble deep. But that dummy ghosting through, picking the gap. You know, we've seen Hawick players identify gaps on grander stages before, but he spotted that there was a forward tracking round there. Great work from Lee Armstrong, great work from the inside centre.
A 2-point game then. Currie launching it forward, deep inside the Hawick 22. Hawick looking to try and return the ball with interest. It's been charged down there by the right winger. James McCaig was up with play there, and Currie then suddenly got possession inside the 22 while the referee signalled it was knocked forward. And hearts in mouths for a moment there that the referee was up to signal the knock on.
Just after lavishing praise on Lee Armstrong, obviously gets charged down here. The ball, great pressure from McCaig to just shoot up and try and charge down that kick. But again, it's another example of a kick-off where the team who's receiving isn't dealing with it that well, and Hawick almost fell into another trap where, with time of the essence, they almost gifted another opportunity for Currie to add to their tally.
Inside the final 10 minutes then, a 2-point game. Anyone's guess what's going to happen next, as Hawick again feeding the ball into the scrum. Currie have got a little bit of movement there. Very quickly out of the scrum was the Currie number 8, just to apply a bit of pressure. And certainly Currie have got two players back by the Hawick 10-metre line at the moment. Hawick then hemmed inside their own 22, 24-26. They're going to aim for touch then downfield, and that takes play back up towards the edge of the Hawick 22. Currie with the throw in.
Good exit there from forward, but again the pressure coming on from Currie, you know, just to get off that line, to put that pressure on the kicker. That has probably been one of the big things which has meant that Hawick have found it really, really difficult to get out of their own area when they've had exits. The Currie pressure, putting some of their quicker runners or quicker back rows onto the kicker. It's worked really well for Currie this afternoon.
And they're taking all time they can here with this line out. Vakago with the throw in. They've brought Graham Carson back on for the closing stages. He was the starting tight head prop, so Ollie Blythe Lafferty makes way. Currie's throw in again. Oh, it was almost knocked forward there, but Hawick, I think for about the 4th or 5th time now, have been able to latch onto Currie ball. Launched forward by the boot. Underneath it then is Charlie Brett, back inside his own half of the field. Looks to launch a kick downfield. It's allowed to bounce a few times. Watched all the way by Kirk Ford on his own 5-metre line. Ford then angling a kick again to touch, but it's not a touch finder. It's gathered then by Paddy Boyer. On then towards his fly half, Jamie Forbes. Forbes then downfield, taken in the in-goal area. Hawick again looking for an exit, and they play that one left-footed downfield and into touch. Just the other side of the 22 this time. and we've got just over 6.5 minutes of this playoff final left to play. Currie still with the throw in inside the Hawick half of the field. Vicago readies himself, but Dale, do you feel that the drama isn't over yet?
That definitely isn't. You know, it's. I was just thinking that. I'm thinking about the finals that we've had before and last year, and it always brings up a tremendous battle between these two sides. But the Currie will certainly feel they won that kick chase there.
And this is nice weaving play here from the right winger, James McCaig, up into the 22. Vicago up in support as well. Currie still going forward here, still making some ground up towards those final 5 metres. It's been a very impressive display from the 14 men of Currie, but they lose possession of the ball there, and launching his body onto it was Connor Sutherland. The referee bringing play back for another Currie knock on, and you have to remember that they have played the entire second half with 14 men. Will their resolve be finally broken, or can they hold out? By our watch, 5.5 minutes, perhaps just over, left to play.
Yeah, a slight discrepancy between the watches, because I think there's a little bit of panic on after that try from the Hawick players, because the illuminated scoreboard shows that we've got half a minute to play, but I think the referee did stop the watch earlier on when there was an injury, so I think we still have a few minutes left to play in this game.
Yeah, I'd say we've got at least 5 minutes left, perhaps a bit longer than that, as again it's picked up by Jay Linton. Round the corner he goes, into the tackle, stays on his feet, tackled his second time. Again Currie looking to try and regroup. Hawick again will not want to force it too far wide just at the moment. They'll try and keep within the 5 channels if they can, both left and right. Ball goes a little loose there, but no damage done. Launched forward. Again Currie have got players back. Ball's allowed to bounce, picked up then by the fullback Charlie Brett. Here he goes on a galloping run back and over that 10 metre line into contact, looking to recycle some ball. Currie have it again through Paddy Bower. Currie looking just to ensure that they keep clean hands of the ball at the moment as they're forced back now towards that Hawick 10. Boyer having a glance towards the right hand side, but brings their number 8 Cardosi into play again. Carries with some purpose. He's had a good 80 minutes or near 80 minutes in a Currie jersey this afternoon, Cardosi. Graham Carson off the bench and back on the park for the closing stages. The tight head prop, on it goes once more. Again Currie looking just to find some space. 4 minutes left of the game by our watch, but I would say there's maybe a little bit longer to go as Vicago again stays on his feet, backs up against the onrushing Hawick players, trying to provide the defensive cover. Currie have it once more, just trying to eat up a little bit more time here. Graham Carson taking the ball into contact, on once again towards the fly half, and he pings that ball just over the shoulder, bounces into touch, and that will be a throw in to Hawick inside the 22, close towards the 5 metre line there. Forbes gambling and finds touch, 5 from the Hawick line.
That is excellent awareness from Forbes, because the other option is just to keep it tight. Keep it tight, keep rumbling it up, zap all the energy out of your forwards, or just sit back in the pocket and notice that you've got the skill set just to dink it over the top, turn the winger, and it bubbles out, and it just camps Hawick further down this field. So yes, they've given away possession, but they're in a great territorial area here.
And the throw in taken, assured hands once again required, and Hawick have it once more. They're trying to pick and go from their own 5 metre line. Callum Rennick, who's had a vitally important afternoon as well for Hawick, and Hawick players now are acting as battering rams here inside their own 22. They try and work it out towards the left hand side, trying to inject a little bit of pace into the game. It's leathered, right footed downfield, and back then goes Charlie Brett. Again there's Hawick players galloping back, and it's picked up then by McCaig. McCaig lines up an opportunity, it's back towards Brett. Oh, that's been intercepted by Jay Linton, and Linton now staying on his feet out towards the left hand side. Suddenly some supporters in the banking racing their way down towards the advertising hoardings. Hawick sense an opportunity here. Muir has it, Muir still inside the 22. 2.5 minutes of the game left to play, sensing an opportunity to win it in dramatic style. Back to Armstrong on the ground again, rolling a couple of times. The referee though stopping the watch, and this decision's going to be important as a player is down going to receive some treatment, so play will resume, and there's a player flattened just outside that 22, but there again a kick downfield, and suddenly panic emerging in the Currie 22.
Yeah, it was great exit there from Hawick, who went expansive, went to the wing, and it was Andrew Mitchell's pass to Welsh was just able to give him enough room to gather the ball and hack it downfield, and the chase from Lightfoot. He didn't make the tackle on Brett. He managed to just put a bit of pressure on the Currie fullback, who's had a really, really good game. A couple of a knock on earlier on, but really assured at the back of the field. He was able to just wrong foot back inside, but a really good pressure there from Hawick to be able to put the pressure on, allow him to kick back downfield, and then Linton was in the right position. Because it's the panic that comes on, as you say, Stuart, they were looking to try and just get out of their own area, get away from their own goal line and not give Hawick any opportunities, which led to a bit of inaccuracy. And then Linton galloping down the field and trying to release McKean, and eventually it did end up in a collision centre field from the Lee Armstrong carry. I think the referee, rightfully so, stopping it to look after the welfare of the players, but it gives both sides a chance to get a little bit of a breather and see how they're going to try and play out this final couple of minutes in what is a pulsating game.
Well, every one of the playoffs that you and I have watched, when you think a couple of years ago at Malenny Park when Currie faced Mar, and these two matches, Currie against Hawick, I mean, if nothing else, there's been oodles of drama in both games.
It's absolutely,
on all three games.
Yeah, and it's brilliant because when a weekend where we've got loads of options to what rugby we want to take in, this is the celebration of the club game, and the competition is brilliant. It's raw. There's errors, there's endeavour, there's physicality, there's passion, there's absolutely everything that you want from club rugby. And every single time we've had a Premiership playoff final, it is served up an absolute cracking tie. This is no different, and we've still got a couple of minutes left. We don't know where it's going to go. We don't know who's going to be Premiership champions, but the next couple of minutes is going to plan out to see what it's going to be.
Yeah, well, Hawick obviously have eyes on a domestic double, the double-double, as has been talked about during the course of the week. Currie looking for a third championship after wins in 2007 and 2010. The game will resume with a scrum. Hawick will have the put in just outside the 22. They've certainly been up against it, but can they manufacture, can they engineer a victory in these final closing moments to win a 14th title and add to the success of a week ago and that dramatic victory in the Scottish Cup final and the win over Edinburgh Accies. Picked up then by Linton into the 22. Tackles are going to be important, as the focus is very much on Hawick going forward just now, rumbling forward. Can they go to the well one more time and find a way to get a victory which would surely seal the championship? Currie hanging on with a 2-point lead at the moment as Linton picks up once again. Referee and the officials going to certainly play their part as Sean Muir once again. Muir involved in tries in the match a year ago. Linton again tries to work it sideways, lateral, then straightens up. The golden jerseyed Currie players, how they'd love possession of the ball at the moment. They're protecting the ball, Hawick, as they spread out towards Armstrong on that left hand side. Currie again just looking for an opening, a little chink in that Hawick drive, but it's assured at the moment, and Hawick again just eating up more and more time. Muir into the final minute. The pick and go again from Lightfoot. On once more, still right in the very heart of the 22, and the penalty has been awarded to Currie inside the 22, so Hawick have been drawn into making the infringement. The referee will stop the watch while it will restart. Another Currie player is down, so there's 30 seconds on our clock, but I would say there'll be a little bit more. The referee has stopped the watch just a little ahead of us, and Currie player is down, so we shall see, Dale, if they can close this out. But I suspect there's a little bit longer than the clock showing the 16 seconds on the screen.
Yeah, you see the reaction from Cardoso there. He was elated that they got that penalty. Great work from Boyer at the breakdown as well. But it was all about the territory and where Hawick were playing, because 3 points is going to win it, and they start going wide. They look to try and test Currie out wide, where Currie's job there is to defend, is to be squeaky clean, and there was almost the wrong option there from Hawick, and it's a matter of trying to force an error from Currie now.
On so many occasions Currie have had attacking lineouts for Hawick have got hands on the ball. So again, Currie have managed to get the hands on the ball from the lineout. A throw towards the back of the line into Currie hands. We'll be asking the referee all the time for the option to play the ball out if they have reached the 80-minute mark, but they're just going to try and pick and go just now. They'll have to keep assured hands. So our clock shows the 80 minutes. They're leading by 2 points. They'll be calling on the referee for time checks, as once again Cardosi just over the ball just now. Now Hawick will be looking to try and close them off and try and force the Currie infringement in that 22. There's some desperation here. Currie though has got the signal from the referee. They kick the ball into touch. Paddy Boyer pings it into touch, and Currie have manufactured the victory. Their third Scottish Championship, their first since 2010. They're victorious by 26 points to 24 in a remarkable final at Mansfield Park, playing the entire second half with 14 men after the red card shown practically on the half-time whistle to Gregor Christie. He cut a devastated figure after he left the field of play, but the smoke bombs are on, the orange flares are on. Mansfield Park has a hint of orange about it right now, and the Currie supporters, after enduring huge disappointment 2 years ago, losing to Mar, losing in dramatic fashion to that McKean try right at the end of the game at Mansfield just over a year ago, and last year's playoff final, third time lucky. They come good, Dale Clancy, this afternoon. A backs against the wall performance for much of the second half, but you have to say all credit to them. 40
minutes with 14 men. It was a monumental effort from Currie, and you can see what it means to players, experienced players like Graham Carson there, going celebrating with friends and family, and they've done it the hard way. They've had to come away from home. They've had to come to Mansfield Park, where Hawick have not been beaten since October 2019 against Glasgow Hawks, and they've won the Premiership. And myself included, nobody thought that Currie were going to come down here and come down in any way, shape or form as favourites. They've been defeated twice by Hawick so far. They've had a draw. They've not won against Hawick since 2021, but when it's mattered, they've put in a brilliant performance. The game management of this side this afternoon was impeccable. It was almost flawless. They were afforded some opportunities by some decisions that went their way, but the way that they managed the game, you think about that little bit towards the end when Forbes just chips it over the top and it bobbles into the corner off the field of play. You know, it is a remarkable effort from Currie to come down here and lift the Premiership crown at the third time of asking. And
perhaps one difference from last year, Dale, in the closing stages, when you remember Currie a year ago scoring with 3 minutes to go to take the lead, they seemed to just lack the composure to see it out. On Hawick dominated, they had possession of the ball, they kept possession for 3-4 minutes before engineering the opening for the McKean try. This afternoon, when they were up against it, they found a way to close the game out with just a margin of 2 points.
Yeah, it was tight, and you thought here this was the Hawick try from Callum Rennick, and you did think here that there was going to be a bit of a momentum swing. They were going to start coming back into it. But for some way and somehow, Currie were able always just to keep them at arm's length. And we thought at this point this year with Gregor Christie, he's lifted the leg, he's just dropped up, and that was a red card for the Currie scrum half. And we thought then it was probably ominous as to where the destination of the Premiership trophy was going to go. We knew it was, we thought it was probably going to swing in Hawick's favour, but the resilience and endeavour from this Currie side was impressive, because out in the second half, straight away, it was a Forbes break which led to a brilliant try from Currie.
Yeah, we're getting to see the Forbes break there, and it works its way out towards that left hand side, and sailing in for the score, the outside centre. A fine piece of play there from Cammy Gray. He had an excellent afternoon, and then we can see just how close Hawick were to scoring. Once again, it was Ronan McKean down that left hand side. Wonderful bit of play from Lee Armstrong, loop pass out towards McKean, and this was the Hawick try, having dominated for 5 or 6 minutes inside that Currie 22. They break the resolve again. Armstrong, the architect, Welsh's positioning was important, and he was able just to latch onto that long loop pass out there from Billy Donaldson, the replacement scrum half. And at that stage you start to think, is the game going to swing in favour of the Mansfield Park men?
Yeah, and this was the break from Armstrong, and the ball brilliantly put back inside from Mitchell to Rennick, who was probably Hawick's standout player. I think apart from Forbes, he was probably one of the best players on the park. I think Jimmy Forbes was the most important player on that field of play this afternoon. But great finish there from Rennick. But you can see eventually what ended up happening was that Currie were just able to dig in. You know, you think of that breakdown with 2 minutes to go, the breakdown centre field, Hawick should be in the ascendancy. They should be controlling play and just asking Currie to defend. And if there's any opportunity for those penalties, they should be going the way of Hawick's side because of the composure, the calmness that he should be having. But Paddy Boyer just managed to get his mitts right in the middle of that, starve the ball, and from there, 2 minutes, we've seen Currie secure the ball, be accurate, which is something that they were throughout the whole game. They played rugby in the right areas, they were accurate when they needed to be, and I think on the balance of play, I think they, for this game, this afternoon, deserve to be Premiership champions.
And it certainly hasn't gone to form, certainly in recent times. When you look over the season, Hawick having 16 wins, 1 defeat, 1 draw in the regulation, 18 matches. Of course, one of the one draw, I should say, was against Currie, 24 points all in January. There's a thoughtful group of men at the moment in that Hawick huddle there, because you know what an opportunity it was for them to do a double-double in this, their 150th year. And it just simply wasn't to be, because Currie this afternoon just found a way to win.
Yeah, they did. I think that you can rarely afford probably to spend half an hour of a rugby match without possession in the first half, and I think that's essentially what they ended up doing. They spent a lot of time defending, not playing in the right areas, and it allowed Currie to get a lead that they never looked back from. They constantly looked back, and I think for my money, I think part of that was because of the game management of one individual, the leadership of one individual, and the difference essentially was that break in the second half. And I think for my money, the player of the match for the Premiership final is Jamie Forbes. I think he was the most important player on that field this afternoon. He's shown leadership qualities, but he also shown what a top-rate player he is as well.
Yeah, we touched on the contribution of Forbes and of Christie, and the exit of Christie due to the red card, but of course the arrival of Paddy Boyer and his level-headed play and his experience, I think, was so important, particularly in the closing stages. And you know, he'll be delighted because, well, he's had to endure such disappointment, as so many of these players have. I remember the disappointment on the face of DJ Innes in the past. This is a nice moment for a club that have contested all 3 Premiership playoff finals since the playoffs were introduced. And I know a lot of people will say, well, there was 12 points between them at the end of the 18 matches. Well, fair enough, but there is now a different aspect to the competition.
Yeah, so what is my answer to that? Because at the beginning of the season, everybody starts on 0 and they all agree on the format of the league, and they know that you get a bit of advantage. So Hawick obviously have managed to navigate themselves through rather tricky territory to get to a home final, and they know that they then have an advantage at the start of a game. It starts 0-0. All teams know that they need to win that final to be Premiership champions, and it allows clubs an opportunity, and that's exactly what Currie have done here. They've got themselves into an opportunity when they've had difficult periods of the campaign, and I think that in terms of this game this afternoon, they managed it better. They were more of a threat, and they deserve to be victors in the balance of this game. And that is what the clubs all know. All the players sign up to it, and the players in the field get this occasion, and that's what it's all about. It's about creating these moments for players, and you know, this moment will last long in the memory of this Currie club, these Currie players and their volunteers. And without the playoff system, you wouldn't get that.
And it will be, as you mentioned during commentary, very interesting to see how the dynamics will shift and change in the coming months, with a fresh look to the club game, with of course the Super 6 series coming to a conclusion during the course of 2024, as the Hawick players continue to come up and one by one receive their runners-up medals. Of course, a very different scene to a year ago when they were lifting the domestic championship trophy. They first won in 1974. That was the 13th occasion last year they were victorious. But this afternoon it's runners-up medals, and there you can see the last of the Hawick players just making their way, exiting the stage. And Lee Armstrong, well, he'll perhaps be bowing out with a runners-up medal after a stellar career with Hawick, 210 appearances including today's one. But as the officials then receiving their medals, it's all about Currie, and it's all about their moment in the sun or under the grey skies of Hawick.
Yeah, and I think it's a great thing as well. I just looked at the banner that was there, and it was Scaly Forever 30. So obviously, you know, a poignant moment for this Currie side, who obviously lost a valuable member to their club scene throughout the season. So, you know, obviously he's not here to celebrate it, but their teammates are, and all their friends are, and everybody's here to absorb this great success that this club have been able to achieve this season. So, you know, Currie they've been here. This is the third time, and the fans have always went and travelled with them, and they've endured the disappointment. They've tasted defeat. So I think the refreshments tonight might be going down a little bit sweeter at Maleny Park.
And credit to the Hawick players as well, because they've gathered to watch the medal presentation of these Currie players, as I say, one by one coming forward to collect their winners' medals. And you can see there, back row forward, Archie Fletcher receiving his medal. Next is Chris Anderson, and the next one up, Kyle Steele. One player off the bench, Roy Vikagu, doing extremely well during the course of his time on the park. James McCaig, likewise. Cammy Gray, that try at the early stages of the second half, really changing the complexion of that second half. And a medal too to the number 9, Gregor Christie. A bittersweet afternoon for him after receiving such disappointment with the red card, but I think on the face of it, perhaps the right decision, given what we saw in the replay again, Dale. Here we are, we'll get Dale's thoughts on that in a moment, because the Currie skipper has received the trophy, and he's going to raise it to the white skies as Currie, for the third time in their history, are Premiership champions. 2007, 2010, and now in 2024, the men from Maleny Park, one of the clubs formed post World War II, one of the newest kids in the block in the Scottish rugby scene, are victorious, and lifted to the skies is Jamie Forbes, who's the silverware in his hands, and he receives the congratulations of the travelling Currie support. And all credit to these Maleny men who've endured disappointment at this stage in the past. This is their moment.
Definitely is, and it's great scenes to see in the club game. You know, those, you know, people who've probably defected from the club scene and are maybe a bit disillusioned as to where to absorb your rugby. Just look at that. Like, you know, you've got a squad of players who have contributed to what is a huge success this season for that club, and they will then go into the closed season and take stock ahead of what is going to be an interesting campaign next year, but living in the memory of the fact that they're Premiership champions for this year. And it's great, they're all on the pitch, they're all celebrating together. And I think Jamie Forbes, who's he's a very seasoned campaigner in club rugby and semi-pro rugby as well, you know, gets a moment hoisted high, and that's an image and a picture that will last long in the memory of not just him but Currie fans for a long, long time. Your thoughts there of Dale Clancy, as the photographs, many of these you'll see on social media and in the newspapers tomorrow and online. Currie with the silverware, it's their afternoon. There is a reminder of the final score. Drama right to the very end. And Hawick, the defending champions, suffering just their second home defeat since 2019. Currie, the last team to do the damage down here at Mansfield Park. They're victorious today, a third domestic championship then for Currie, at the third time of asking in the playoff finals. And just after 4 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon in early May, it's Currie who celebrate. From myself, Stuart McFarlane, and from Dale Clancy, thank you very much for watching, and we'll leave you with pictures of Currie celebrating their 10th championship win.